Hi, this is SkylerBollar again. I just released the video about my entire trip, but I figured I'd do a shorter one that's for the people who are too long, didn't listen. So I'm going to go with my key takeaways from the trip that I had. My first one is to do everything you can to make sure the entire flight is managed by the same airline. While it might be cheaper to jump between airlines, there are a few demerits to doing so. One of the first demerits is when you check your bags with a specific airline and you're going all the way through with the same airline, you don't ever have to go collect your bags and then get back on the plane. You only ever collect your bags at the very end because they send them all the way through. Another one is if a flight in the middle of your trip is delayed, like if my flight from Dallas to London was delayed and it would have caused me to miss the flight after the one from London to Manchester, and those were in different airlines, then the second airline could have said, oh, well, you missed your flight, it's not our fault, too bad for you. But if it's all through the same airline, then you missed a flight with them because of them, and usually that's a lot better grounds for you to say, hey, it's your fault that I missed this flight, fix it. Another benefit is trip insurance. So traveling abroad can be expensive, flights abroad can be expensive, and I wouldn't risk not having insurance for my journey because stuff happens. You can get insurance as sort of like an addition through your airline, and it's a lot easier to get insurance for a trip when it goes all through the same airline. And so that's what I did, and it's very reassuring to have. Another piece of advice that I have is be sure to communicate your needs to your host institution, the airline that you're working with, and your primary care physician. If you listen to the story about my trip, there was the fact that my spinal problem had caused me issues during that longer flight. Could have really been avoided if I just talked to my primary care physician. Communicating with my host institution for my study abroad program, Lancaster University, helped me to get that free taxi, which was definitely just very appreciated because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in some country that I've never been to, and I don't even have a SIM card that works to communicate with people. So, yeah, and then talking with your airline just to make sure that they know, if you have food problems, be sure to mention that when you get your ticket. Otherwise, just to talk with them about if they're trying to make you store your bag during a domestic flight before an international one, let them know that you're going international and that you need that bag really bad. And just things like that. Just be sure to communicate your needs, and that's really the easiest way to make sure that you're able to be taken care of. And then outside of other people taking care of you, make sure to take care of yourself. International travel can be really draining. Our trip was 30 hours long by the end of it. So, make sure that you are well rested and you drink lots of fluids and that you eat lots of food just to keep your energy up. And yeah, especially if it's your first time traveling international, it can be really stressful. So do whatever you can to keep your cool and try and nap whenever possible, on your longer flights. And just be aware that things will happen. It is important to stay flexible when going abroad because stuff happens. Not been international yet without something happening during my flights. And while you're abroad, there's definitely going to be things that you don't expect that are going to happen that you wish you'd known about, but it's just really hard to be prepared for everything. Last, I would say try and do your research as best as you can. When we had gotten our taxi from the university, we didn't know the exact address of where we needed to go for our specific living accommodations at Lancaster University. That would have helped because then we wouldn't have had to walk through the snow in the middle of the night to get to where we were supposed to be, because we would have just been hey, go exactly here. We managed. We were okay, and that's really part and parcel of international travel. Stuff happens. You'll manage. You'll be okay. Just keep your wits about you. But the walking was a bit draining, especially because my wife had a duffel bag and I had a rolling bag, and having a duffel bag can be nice, but just be aware that if it doesn't roll and you have to walk a lot, it can be heavy and really a pain in the butt, and you'll kind of hate it maybe after a while. So yeah, those are just nice things to know. Keep those things in mind. And if you have other things that you've studied abroad or you've done international travel that you think people should know about, you can just put them in like the comments or whatever. So we get a nice list going of things that people should keep in mind when they're going international and doing international travel.